And later this morning, New York Attorney General Letitia James will be arraigned in a Virginia courthouse. James will be arraigned in U.S. District Court. She was indicted on 2 felony charges of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. James denies any wrongdoing. Ahead of that hearing, the Attorney General signaled her plan to ask for the indictment to be dismissed altogether. In a 2-page filing yesterday, lawyers for James cited what they call the unlawful appointment of interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan. That's President Trump's handpicked prosecutor who brought the indictment against James. Let's get the latest details now from MSNBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney. And he is reporting live from outside the federal courthouse in Norfolk, Virginia, where things will take place in the hours ahead. Ken, good morning. Good to see you. Let's remind our viewers, of course, Letitia James was one of the names that President Trump demanded his attorney general prosecute in that Truth Social post that went public a few weeks back. Here we go today. Next step in that matter. Talk to us what we should expect.
Good morning, Jonathan. Well, this is an arraignment, so a very basic and pro forma hearing. It's going to start at about 11 a.m. We expect the New York Attorney General to arrive about an hour from now, an hour before, so she can be booked and processed, mugshot taken, fingerprints taken, and then the arraignment will proceed as they often do. She will have the charges against her read, that 1 count of bank fraud, 1 count of lying to a financial institution, by the way, punishable by up to 30 years in prison. She'll have a chance to enter a plea. Either she or her lawyer will say. We expect her to plead not guilty, of course. There'll be discussions about the terms of her release, and then discussions about these 2 motions that you mentioned, one of which attacks the appointment of the U.S. attorney, calling it illegal. And the second, actually, is quite interesting. It asks the judge to order the U.S. attorney to stop essentially making improper statements to the media in light of a text exchange that has been made public by a lawfare journalist who says that Lindsay Halligan spoke to her over the encrypted app Signal about matters that included grand jury matters and sensitive matters in this case. And I should also say, Jonathan, we have some new reporting, first reported by ABC News, but we've confirmed it here at MSNBC, about a memo written by the prosecutors who originally looked at this case, 2 of whom have been fired, which says that the evidence in this case is actually even weaker than it first appears. Remember that what's at issue here is what they say she got an interest rate on this second home that saved her about $50 a month over the life of the loan. Well, this memo says it's actually more like $15 to $30 a month, and it says that the rules about occupancy are unclear, and for that reason, this is not a great case and will be hard to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Because remember, the issue is here, she said it was a second home, but actually prosecutors say she used it as an investment property because her niece lived there. This memo says that prosecutors found very little evidence that the niece actually paid rent, only about $1,300 in rent over the years that she was living there. So undercutting the idea that this was actually an investment property, Jonathan.
Ken, let's follow up with this idea about one of the possible defenses here, that Lindsay Halligan was improperly appointed. It's very similar to what James Comey is doing in his case. Comey, of course, also mentioned by Trump as a target for retribution. Tell us more about that strategy, and what do legal experts say? Do they assess it could be a good one?
They do, Jonathan. Actually, that's interesting. Conservative and liberal legal scholars seem to agree that this is a valid way to attack this case because it has to do with the Appointments Clause of the U.S. Constitution, and it's something that Donald Trump and his team have been doing across the board. They can't get some of these people confirmed by the Senate through the normal course of business. U.S. attorneys have to be confirmed by the Senate, so they're installing interim, in this case, U.S. attorneys. Well, those people are only supposed to serve 120 days. There already was an interim U.S. attorney in this district who served 120 days. Remember, he was fired because he didn't want to bring this case. So now Lindsay Halligan is here, and the argument is that you can't start the clock again, that she's not properly situated as the U.S. attorney. And judges have been sympathetic to that argument in other jurisdictions. And so a lot of people believe that that could succeed here. Now, I have said in the past that that could doom the case, but there's a new legal analysis that we've been made aware of that actually prosecutors, even if she's knocked out as U.S. attorney, they would get another chance to file this case. So it may not be fatal to the case, but it certainly would set it back, Jonathan.
All right. MSNBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney reporting live for us from Norfolk, Virginia. Ken, thank you. And Mika, as Ken said, the arraignment is scheduled to start 11 o'clock Eastern.